What is going on? Welcome back to another edition of the DFS OGs podcast right here on RotoGrinders.com, presented by our friends over at BetMGM. Make sure you head over there if you have not taken advantage already. Promo code GRINDERS, that's going to get you a risk-free bet up to $1,000. Limited time offer, so make sure you guys are taking advantage of that. We're running out of weeks here for the NFL. Week 11 on tap, joined as always by my boys Chop, Noto. Chop, let's start with you, and I got to call you out here. Green Bay, Dallas, I thought for sure Dallas is going to go in and win. What do my Packers do? They come from behind. I believe I saw this stat. The first time the Cowboys in their illustrious history have ever lost a game when they were up 14, either in the second half or the fourth quarter, like 195-0. Green Bay behind 3 touchdowns from Christian Watson finally shows up, gets a W. Chop, feeling pretty good over here, buddy. Green Bay over the Cowboys. How we doing?
You're feeling pretty good about that 4-6. I get it. I get it, man.
They're still in the mix at 4-6.
Still in the mix
in the NFC.
I mean, it was a rough loss for Dallas. I'll say this. I wasn't even gonna say anything until you brought this whole subject. I moved on once the game was over.
I had to jab you a little. There's
not
you
got to jab me, so now I got to jab back. Come on with that.
All right, come on.
That last drive in overtime, that first drive in over, Dallas would have iced it. Are you kidding me with those 2 penalties? A holding call and then the non-call on the pass interference. Come on, give me. It was pretty clear the NFL had it out for the Cowboys that day.
All right, you want to go to excuses land? That's fine. Whatever it takes. But the W's in the books. That's what I'm not going to argue with those. Hey, when you're on the right side of those calls, you're like, well, damn, I'll take that.
My original thought, what I was going to say was, hindsight is 2020. But when a team hits absolute rock bottom, they've got nowhere to go but up. And we should have saw that with Green Bay. Like, you don't lose to Detroit like that. Aaron Rodgers, rock bottom game maybe of his whole career. We kind of maybe should have saw some writing on the wall. He can't get worse than that. And they were much better that game. So, but that's been the whole season. Can't quite read the cues before they come for me this whole season. So.
Well, that's good news for us because we definitely hit rock bottom last week on the picks. So nowhere to go but up. It's been a great run, a great season. These weeks are going to happen. So a tough week, rock bottom for sure. But week 11, new possibilities, a chance to get those records back on track. Noto, how are you? How was week 10? Any thoughts on this Cowboys-Packers little rivalry here?
Yeah, that was a good game. Much surprised to see the outcome of that one. But I can't remember if we talked about this on the show, but all 3 of us said play Christian Watson in your DFS lineups, right? Or was that out behind the scenes?
I don't. I suppose we could take a little credit for that.
I mean, it wasn't me. I know. I guarantee you it wasn't me. Because I'm sitting there on Sunday, just like, oh my God, he just this guy. You needed this guy to win the tournaments, and yeah, I had no clue that was coming. So I know it wasn't me.
So that wasn't us. Oh, darn.
I mean, are you no tourists? What are you on here, man?
Noto's on so many shows, he gets them all confused.
Nobody's going to go back and listen to the tapes. We can just
you're right. Yeah, we gave out Watson. How come you guys didn't play Watson? That's crazy. And the run back with CD, it's so obvious. Come on, guys.
It wasn't rock bottom. We did get some things right. But, Christian Watson. We'll see if he can keep it going here. And Thursday night, we'll start there. Our first game on the docket, Tennessee and the Green Bay Packers in Thursday Night Football here. Latest spread, we'll use BetMGM's lines here as they are the sponsor of the show. We got Green Bay -3. That's up from the open of 1.5. Total in this one sitting at a low 41. So, Noto, will stay with you. Green Bay gets that win. We hate the term must win, but you go to 3-7. Sure, you're probably still somewhat alive in the NFC. Now 4-6. You're kind of on the graphic at least. Tennessee on a nice roll here, 6-3. The issue, Green Bay cannot stop the run. We know what Tennessee wants to do. They're going to hand the ball to Derrick Henry 30, 35 times potentially in this game. Can Green Bay stop them? Can they attack the weakness of this Tennessee team, which is the secondary, specifically the deep ball? So is Christian Watson for real? We're going to find out real quick here. So a battle of weaknesses here. Tennessee's deep ball Green Bay's run D, what prevails here Thursday night, Noto?
Yeah, this is a tough one. Green Bay feels a little overvalued in the market right now. If this spread was set, a week ago, it certainly wouldn't be 3 points, I don't think. And then the Titans, I mean, coming off of a big win where Derrick Henry didn't really do much. I was really surprised to see, the passing attack get going a little bit in that one. The defense played well against the Broncos. But, I mean, you give life to Aaron Rodgers. I just think I have to go with the home team in this one. Lambeau's a tough place to play. Going to be tough stopping Derrick Henry, but give me the Packers in this one.
I'm locking my boys in here. I'm feeling good. Maybe I'm riding high off of last week, but you got to think they make a concerted effort to stop this guy. Make the Ryan Tannehill beat you throwing to Robert Woods. And, I know Treylon Burks is back, Austin Hooper, whoever else they're going to roll out there. Just stack the box. Let's take Ryan Tannehill beat you. But the ability to attack this defense, the secondary, the deep ball, I think is going to be in play here. So I'm going best bet number 1, Green Bay minus the 3. Chop, what do you got here Thursday night, Titans, Packers?
Yeah, I don't know about this game, so I don't have a definitive pick. Like on one side, the way you can beat the Packers defense is on the running game. And Derrick Henry, there's probably no better pure running threat out there than Derrick Henry to just pound you 30 times. And on the flip side, Tennessee has no passing game. I just can't believe how bad they are in the air. So I don't trust them, and I don't know. I just don't have a lean on this game at all. I'm going to pass on it.
All right, let's go to Sunday. First game up, we have Carolina and Baltimore. Big spread here, opened at 13. That's come down to 12 here at BetMGM. It's come down as low as 10.5 in some other spots. Total at 41.5 here, Chop. So a lot of points. Carolina looks like Baker Mayfield back under center. I don't know if that's good or bad with what we've seen from P.J. Walker here. Baltimore, we'll see if Mark Andrews is back in that lineup, expected to be back here. So a big spread here, Chop. You back in the Ravens here? We taking the points of Carolina?
I'm back in the Ravens. I'm going to lock the Ravens in here. I've seen enough now of Baker Mayfield to know just how bad he is. And so I think we're going to go right back to that same early season Panthers that were just terrible on offense. At least Walker provided some kind of a spark. Ravens probably got to be as healthy right now as they've been in a while. They're going to get Mark Andrews back here, and Lamar's going to be able to, he's probably feeling pretty good after a little week off. So, yeah, I think the Ravens are going to run wild on them.
All right, best bet number 1, Chop, going with the Baltimore Ravens. No, I saw a nod over there. You with Chop here on the Ravens, or are you taking the points to Carolina?
Yeah, as soon as we saw, Baker Mayfield get named the starter, got to go with the Ravens in this one. Baker's just been so bad. P.J. Walker at least gives him a fighting chance. So I'm with them. Looks like Gus Edwards is going to be back as well. I think that's a positive. Just a home team coming off the bye. I think the Ravens are due for one of those games where they just, smash one of these weak opponents.
Is that a best bet?
That is a best bet.
Best bet number 1 for Chop and Noto. Baltimore Ravens next game, Cleveland and Buffalo. Now the story here, guys, I just kind of heard this before we started recording. They're expecting 4 to 6 feet, not inches, feet of snow in Buffalo. So this game, it turns out, could be moved to Detroit with Detroit on the road here. Buffalo lined up for a Thanksgiving game in Detroit the following week. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But 4 to 6 feet of snow. No. Now you deal with a lot of snow out there in Utah. And in the Midwest, sure, we may get a foot, 2. I've never heard of and never seen 4 to 6 feet of snow. Can you attest to this, what this would look like?
Yeah, I mean, I want to say when I was little, your memories tend to get exaggerated as you get older. So maybe once or twice when I was little, but 4 to 6 feet, that's just wild. So that definitely would change my thoughts on the game if this is in Detroit, because I think, Buffalo would just run away with it indoors against Cleveland. So, and if it's in the snow, you got to think, Nick Chubb's going to be able to keep it on the ground, have some success there. So I don't have a strong take yet, and I probably wouldn't put any money on it until we know what's going to happen in this game.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm with you. I don't know that I can make a strong take here on this game. If it's in the snow, Josh Allen feels like he'll be able to kind of run wild on the ground. You're right about Nick Chubb. What does the passing game look like? Is it still snowing? Is it windy? So just a lot of question marks here. So I'm going to back off of this one. Let's get you the latest numbers. So Buffalo opened at 6. It is up to 8 here at BetMGM. The total 41.5. So, Chop, a lot of question marks here. I mean, a ton of snow coming. Could be in Buffalo. Could be Detroit. We have no idea. Any thoughts here before we move on?
I got two trains of thought here. Number one, can't make a real pick on this because I don't know where it is. If it's in the snow, like you said, it favors Cleveland. It stifles that Buffalo wide open offense that makes them very good. And if you move it indoors, and then it's going to favor Buffalo. So can't make a pick, not knowing all that. I just have one little rant I'd like to get out of the way real quick. Just watching that game last week, Buffalo. I said going into the game, I was thinking in my head, okay, let Josh Allen heal up, man. You don't win a Super Bowl this year. It's Super Bowl or bust. You can't just get back in the playoffs, win a couple games, and it was a successful year. No, you have to win a Super Bowl if you're Buffalo. That's your standard right now. You're not going to even come close to that without a healthy Josh Allen. So I was thinking, got the elbow injury. Let the guy sit for a couple weeks. Just let him rest up. There's no harm in that. You're going to make the playoffs. You're going to be a lot better off. You got more of a chance to meet your goal with a healthy Josh Allen, even if you have to go on the road for 3 playoff games, as opposed to having home field advantage through everything, but having Case Keenum back there. No, you're not winning the AFC with Case Keenum. I don't care where you play. Why they ran Josh Allen out there when he was clearly affected by that elbow. I mean, you could see, I thought he was done for the year when he jabbed at the interception.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I thought he was done, man. I thought, oh, shit, that's it. And I just traded for the guy in season long, too, because the other guy got nervous. So I'm like, just rest him. Why you don't rest him? Let the guy get healthy. I have no idea. You ran him out there, and you still lost the game anyway. I'm not being results-oriented. I thought you should rest him before that even happened, but now you ran him out there, and you still lost. So get the guy healthy, man. Let him take a couple weeks off. You're in fine position. You're going to win your division. Come on, guys.
I mean, a couple thoughts here. The division, I mean, Miami looks legit. You know, they may make a run. The Jets, I don't see them hanging around here. But Buffalo has shown they don't necessarily need home field advantage. Yeah, it's nice. You want it. They have shown they can go on the road and win anywhere. And Kansas City, we know, is the biggest test. They've gone there and won 2 out of the last 3 times. I know the last one they lost was the playoff game, but of course you want the home field advantage. I don't think it's a necessity. So I kind of agree with you there. What a game that was. I mean, back and forth. That catch by Justin Jefferson was absolutely incredible. All the arguments, is this the best catch ever? The Odell catch. That thing on 4th down, I mean, he doesn't bring that in, the game's over. It's as simple as that. So, Noto, any thoughts on the Bills, Josh Allen, that game, the catch, any of that stuff from last week? It's an incredible game.
Yeah, got to be the best catch of the year for sure, especially when you consider, the circumstance of the game. And, man, the Vikings, they must have a golden horseshoe stuck somewhere up there. As far as the Josh Allen thing, I think the Bills just need to save him from himself. He was in the coach's ears, wanting to play. He's one of those guys that's going to, do everything he can to be on the field. So I agree with Chop. They should have sat him, but I think it's more Allen, trying to get his way in there than the coaches really wanting to push the injury.
Yeah, and now you have, if they do play in the snow, there's some risk to that. And then you have a short week with Thanksgiving coming up. So a lot of questions here with this Buffalo team. So, but Buffalo, if you got 4 to 6 inches of snow, feet of snow coming, good luck. That is crazy. Hopefully that passes right by me and can stay up there in the Northeast. All right, we got Eagles. Colts up next. Eagles no longer undefeated, shocked at home by Washington here on Monday Night Football. We'll see if they can bounce back. This thing opened Philly -10. It's come all the way down to Philly -6.5, pretty much everywhere, total at 44. So, Noto, we'll stay with you here. Philly finally looks vulnerable. You got to give it up to Washington. Goes in, gets it done. Colts side, everybody laughed about Jeff Saturday. He goes to Vegas. I did try to warn you guys. You guys are all about Vegas with the whole Jeff Saturday situation. And I didn't bet Indy. I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but how bad is Vegas is the main question here. But they did get Jonathan Taylor going. The weakness of this Philadelphia team is against the run, Noto. So does that game plan work? Was it just a kind of a one game? Okay, Jeff Saturday, somebody new. Now Philly gets back on track and blitzes them here under a touchdown. What are you doing, Eagles and Colts?
Yeah, well, to be fair, we were under the assumption that Sam Ellinger was going to be the quarterback, and so was everyone else in pregame warmups. All of a sudden, Matt Ryan's out there. But I'll take the loss on that one. And, yeah, Jeff Saturday, if he's going to get it done, I'll dust off my resume. I'm coaching my little son's basketball team, so might as well get in the NBA coaching ring here soon.
The Nets could use somebody.
Yeah, I'm available, Brooklyn, if you're listening. As far as the Eagles go, I mean, man, everything went wrong for them in that game. All three of their turnovers before the last one on the last play were, very, very, very unlucky. The one was in A.J. Brown's hands, got intercepted. Then the missed face mask call on Dallas Goedert when he got hurt and fumbled. And then, obviously you had the Quez Watkins bomb. He looked like he was going to get up and score, and then he got tackled from behind. So I'm not worried about Philly in the slightest. I think they're going to, bounce back in a big way. I'm worried about the Goddard injury, but I think I think the flash in the pan of Saturday is just not going to last.
On this show, it's Dallas Goedert.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You got to get that name right. But
French.
Yeah, he was placed on IR, so he'll be out 4 weeks. A.J. Brown, questionable. So, Chop, we saw this team, look a little vulnerable. Injuries piling up here. The Colts feeling good about themselves. Stud running back against a shaky run D for an 8-1 team. Can the Colts do it again, or does Philly get back on track here?
I don't have a lean on this game, so I'm not gonna. But I'll say this: that they won't miss Goedert very much at all. You know who they miss is Jordan Davis, their pick, stud rookie out of Georgia. He was the guy that was up for could have been a Heisman finalist last year. He was that good on deep, that dominating as an interior defensive lineman. And when he went out, and he should come back in a few weeks, but not anytime soon. These guys are getting run on. So what do we got now? Oh, we got Jonathan Taylor coming, and Taylor looked really good last week. Now, I don't know if it was Jeff Saturday tweaking some things in the offensive line or what happened, but he looked a lot more like the old Jonathan Taylor. So this is going to be a real battle right here as to, can the Eagles throw some spackle on that gap right there in the middle and try to get through this game, or is Jonathan Taylor going to crush them up the middle, running the ball? So I'm very interested, but I have to abstain from a pick because, who knows, man. I want to say Philly big bounce back spot, but can't do it on the road against the Colts.
Right. I'm kind of want to say Colts, but I feel like we missed the boat already. I mean, if you had Indy or plus 10, to me, that's a no-brainer. Now that it's under a touchdown, it makes it a little bit more challenging to go on the Indy side of things. So I'm going to be with you guys. I'm just going to stay away from this one. I do think Philly bounces back. Feels like the Colts are riding a little bit high on that one, but we'll see. I'm going to avoid that one as well. Next up, Washington and Houston. Opened up Washington -2.5. That's climbed to 3. Total at 40.5. So, Chop, we'll stay with you. The question here, okay, you're the coach of Washington. Is it Taylor Heineke? Is it Carson Wentz? I don't know that decision is coming this week, but it's coming around the corner. Chop, who's the quarterback here? And then get into this game. Houston continues to struggle against the run. Do we look to Robinson, Antonio Gibson in this one? McLaurin playing well with Heineke, but who's that starting quarterback, Chop? Heineke or Wentz?
Are we even debating this?
That's what I said. How do you not have
way.
Heineke?
Yeah, there is no way you can go back to Carson Wentz right now at this point. It's a done deal. You've seen all you need to see, right? He's terrible. He's been terrible for years. You can't, and then you got this other guy who comes in and he actually gives him a spark. And it's not the first time. He did it last year too. I'm not saying he's a world beater at quarterback, but he's a lot better than what Wentz is giving you. This isn't a no-brainer. You don't go back to Carson Wentz, or else you just deserve to get fired as a coach, man. That's it. You just don't deserve your job.
You probably lose the team as well. I mean, they're feeling good. They're playing well. They're back to 500.
5-5, man. This team sucks, and they're 5-5.
Exactly.
You gotta give them some credit there. You can't go back to win. So, but I'm kind of over the whole. I think trying to figure out who should I bet, who's the better team, I think you just got to play the letdown or bounce back kind of spots like that. And this has got to be a classic letdown for Washington after that win on Monday night. Was that Monday night?
Yep.
Monday Night Football, short week, biggest win of the year, biggest win in 2 or 3 years. You took down your undefeated division rival. Got to be a big letdown spot. I got to lock in Houston at +3. I know they suck. I know they say it, and it hurts me to have to take a team like that. But I need to start. The other stuff isn't working. Like just trying to figure out the numbers, and crunch the numbers. Is this team good? This team bad? Let's just play the bounce back letdown kind of spots. And this is a classic letdown. So let's take the field goal plus a hook and take Houston at home. Lock it in.
Best bet.
Lock it in.
Hey, I'm going to make you feel better. I'm also on Houston in this spot here. A lot of the reasons you mentioned, I think Houston remains competitive. We've said that all season long. They're giving Dameon Pierce the ball. They're kind of minimizing what Davis Mills has to do. And this is not a Washington team that's going to go in and score a ton of points. So they're not going to be in comeback mode, most likely. It should be a close competitive game here. And I think they can get the run going with Pierce here. So I like Houston as well with the points. Like you said, it's ugly taking a 1-8 team with the points here, but 3.5, I'm feeling pretty good about the Texans. So Chop, I'm with you. No, do you want to join the party here on Houston, or are you on the Washington side?
Yeah, I mean, this was going to be one of my final, maybe bet as a lock, maybe not. So might as well go 3 for 3 and lock in Houston. If we're getting the 3.5, I like that quite a bit. But a couple of other notes. So they were going through Taylor Heineke's story of how he got to this point on the broadcast on Monday night. Just incredible. I mean, this guy's been cut by a bunch of teams. He was a backup in the XFL, wasn't even a starter. And then somehow works his way, and now it's an awesome story. So he's an easy guy to root for. He seems to fire up his teammates like you guys were mentioning. And then what did you guys think of the roughing the passer call that ended that game on Monday night? Honestly, obviously it's a penalty by rule, but it's hard to end a game like that. It just doesn't feel right. I don't know.
I didn't like it. I mean, the guys coming in full speed. You're expecting these guys to stop on a dime, and I know they're world-class athletes, but it looked to me like he was trying to slow up. He didn't come in and destroy the guy. Heineke kind of sold it a little bit, which you give him credit, but I'm with you. Yes, by the lay of the land, it's a penalty, and some people, that's it. There's no gray area. To me, is that how we want an NFL game to end, especially in prime time? Probably not. So no for me. Chop, any thoughts on that?
I mean, you don't want the game to end on a penalty like that, but I thought it was a good call. Like, as a quarterback, I went back and rewatched it in slow motion, and he was on his knee. That linebacker had a clear vision of him on his knee, and if you listen to the thing later on, he said, well, I thought he might get back up and run the ball. Come on, man. Like, no. So you knew what you were doing. It's a quarterback. If it's a wide receiver out there, I get it, and it's a bang-bang thing like that, but yeah, I thought it was a fine call, man.
It was just a weird way to kneel. Like he was like going backwards in the pocket.
He just gave himself up, but
yeah,
and then you look though. Was he had a good 2 or 3 yards there. The defender had a good 2 or 3 yards to kind of like if he's on his knee, just come in. I guarantee you, if you go in and you touch him on his shoulder,
yeah,
they don't throw a flag. You can't come in and actually try to tackle him when he's on his knee. He's on his knee and you try to tackle. That should have been your first giveaway. The guy's on his knee. I have to lower myself, like I have to torpedo down here to tackle you. That should be a giveaway right there. Maybe I shouldn't be doing it, but I thought you don't want to end it like that. But I thought it was a fine call.
I mean, it is what it is. And if you're a Philly fan, don't put yourself in that position where the game's even that close. You don't like that call, and why are you letting Washington even be in that game? So a lot of ways that you can go with that one. It is what it is. It's in the books. Washington gets that W. All right, let's move on. Jets, Patriots up next. Jets sitting at a surprising 6-3. New England 5-4. Big game here in the AFC East. A lot of line movement on this one, guys. Open up New England 5.5-point favorite. Let's come all the way down to 3 here for us at BetMGM. 38.5. So another very, very low total here, Chop. So are the Jets for real? I mean, that's the question here. We just talked about, I think Miami is definitely legit. We know Buffalo's phenomenal. The Jets, the Giants, I still think are going to be answering these questions throughout the season. So a tough test here going into New England, coming off a bye. That line movement, a little questionable here, Chop. So Jets, Patriots, what are we doing?
Yeah, I would say. Man, should I lock it in or not? It's kind of early to be locking in my third pick, but I'll just say I lean the Jets. Then I lean the Jets. I think the Jets are they were really for real with Brees Hall. All right, you took that away, that hurts. But what they're really built on here is the defense. The defense is good. They made some great draft picks, including a guy who's just going to absolutely take away an entire section of the field with Sauce Gardner. So the defense is for real. Patriots, I still don't like. What are the Patriots going to do? Ramondre is your best weapon. I don't believe in Mac Jones. They don't really have the receivers to do anything. So I'm going to lean the Jets. I'm not going to lock them in, but I definitely think the Jets are for real, and I would definitely lean them with a very heavy lean at 3 and a hook.
Yeah, if you can get to 3.5, I mean, I'm with you. I think the line movement at first doesn't make sense, but the Jets I think are better than people realize, especially defensively. And what is New England rolling out there, like you mentioned? Unless you're handed to Ramondre 25 times, do you trust Mac Jones? Do you trust Bailey Zappi? Anyone else in this offense? So it worries me a little bit. New England coming off the bye. Noto, thoughts on this one? I'm staying away from this game with the line movement, with the bye week, but are the Jets for real here? Can they go into New England and get this done?
Well, the last time I checked, Zach Wilson was still their quarterback. So I am locking in the Patriots. Look, I love the Jets defense, love everything they've done so far this season, but they're relying on a lot of turnovers. You got to go into New England off the bye week. Mac Jones, the only thing he does well is manage games. Doesn't commit a bunch of turnovers other than that first game back from injury against the Bears. So I like the Patriots here, and the fact that I'm getting a better number than I was originally expecting is good enough for me. But I've been betting against the Jets a lot, so don't take my word for
it. I think a lot of people have, so don't feel bad on that. Again, I think there's a lot of questions with that team. We'll see if they answer them. Let's get to the other New York team in action at home. The Giants hosting the Detroit Lions, coming off a big win last week, and should have known better. It was on the Bears. The whole world was on the Bears, and
they had it, man.
We know better. Yeah, they did have it. They should have put that away, but Justin Fields, we'll get to him momentarily. But kudos to the Lions. Back-to-back wins now, 3-6, and I wouldn't say they're back in the mix, but much better than 1-8. So open Giants 4.5. That's come down to Giants -3 here in this spot. Total at 46. So Derek, we'll stay with you. Can the Lions keep it rolling? And Giants for 7-2 to only be 3-point home favorites here. A little questionable here. What do you think of the spread?
Yeah, I mean, I always worry about Jared Goff on the road, outdoors in the cold, but the Giants, they just haven't been putting teams away. I mean, they've been winning a lot of close games. Even last week, against the Texans, they didn't really run away with that game. So if you're giving me the 3, I think the game's going to be decided by a field goal. I would lean toward Detroit, but definitely not going to be locking that in.
I lean Detroit here as well. I'm not locking in as a best bet. I'm trying to debate, is this reacting to the last 2 weeks, Chop? Is it the Giants, who Noto mentioned, they're not killing anybody. They barely score any points here. So the Lions offense should be able to find success against this defense. What do you got here? Lions, Giants, a small 3-point spread here.
Small spread. Tough game to figure out here. I'll say this much. If you're telling me there's 3 to 6 feet around Buffalo in snow, then New York's got to be kind of at threat to get some of that. Also, some of it, any kind of weather that is going to take away from the passing game, while you would think that favors the Giants because the Giants don't pass that much. I actually think if we have to go to a running game here, I think that favors Detroit. Right. I want some more Swift. Please, God, give Swift some more carries, man. If he's healthy enough to be playing, let's play him for real. If he's not, then let's sit him for even longer and let him get healthy, man. But, I want that Detroit running game in some subpar weather. So I would lean Detroit.
Yeah, I don't get why they don't rest him. If you're not going to use him, you can still use Jamal Williams, but why give the guy, 10 snaps? What's the point? The old decoy. No one's worried about a decoy when you're the Detroit freaking Lions. So I'm with you. We'll see what they do there. But guy's so talented to see him kind of wasted right now. Really sucks. So we'll see what happens with him. Next game, the Rams and the Saints. News with the Rams this week. Obviously, Cooper Kupp going on IR. Not looking good here for the Rams, sitting at 3-6. This one opened up New Orleans -1. Chop, that's gone all the way up to -4, 4.5 in some spots. I'm seeing a 6.5 at a book here. Total at 38.5. I have a best bet coming up for this one, Chop, and I'm going to toss it to you here. The slumping Rams, the Saints. Is it Dalton? Is it Winston? We don't know yet. What do we got here? Rams and Saints.
Well, maybe our best bets collide here, but I've got to go Saints here. I wish I would have got this number earlier in the week.
Yep.
But 4.5, I'm still fine with that because, first of all, this is one of the most severe Super Bowl hangovers I've ever seen from this Rams team, because this isn't that different than this team last year that rolled, and they're getting smacked around this year. But it's not just the Cooper Kupp thing. That's a big injury, but I think they're also down a couple more linemen now too. Man, they're in trouble. Saints, who I haven't even generated as good of a pass rush this year as they have in years past, should still be able to get home to Stafford or whoever's quarterbacking. When he does get it off, who's he going to throw to now? He doesn't have that safety valve. They're in trouble. Lock me in the Saints. Best bet.
Chop, I'm insulted that you thought our bets were going to collide here.
I know. Who knows?
That you thought I was going to take the Rams as a best bet, Chop. Come on. Give me the Saints, baby. I love this. This is probably my favorite bet. Like you said, I wish we could have got it, at that one or under a field goal. But to be honest, I think this is one of those, Noto, and I know we love to talk about this, that I'm going to look for the advanced lines, the double digits. I don't know how the Rams are going to score points. They have no offensive line. They can't run the ball. Whether it's Stafford, Wolford, I don't care. Allen Robinson is now your best receiver, and Van Jefferson, the Tyler Higbee. I mean, how are they going to generate any offense here? As bad as the Saints have been, they still have Alvin Kamara. They still have Chris Olave. They're getting some guys back defensively. I think this is going to be a blowout. So I'd love the Saints in this spot. Give me New Orleans. Best bet, Noto. What do you got?
Well, it's time for Allen Robinson to make up for that big contract he signed in the offseason.
Not happening.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm not going to lock it in because I've lost too much money betting on the Saints this season, but I certainly get everything you're saying, and that would definitely be my lean as well.
All right, let's move on. Next game, we have the last game in the early window. Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears taking on the Atlanta Falcons. My Atlanta Falcons here, both teams kind of struggling 3-7, 4-6. Opened up at Falcons -4.5. That's come down to 3. The total in this one sitting at 50. So I've taken a few weeks off from the Falcons, Derek. I'm going to continue to stay on the sidelines here. I don't have a strong read on this game. Fields has been great. The offense has been incredible. Atlanta, we know, wants to establish the run over and over and over again. Big total game here. Spread moving towards Chicago. I'm backing off of this one. Noto, what do you got here? Bears, Falcons.
Yeah, I'm backing off as well. My lean is toward the over, which is weird for two of the most heavy run teams in the NFL, but neither one of these defenses can stop anybody. Can't wait to see Justin Fields indoors. The field in Chicago is pretty bad, and he's just been awesome there. So can't wait to see what he can do against this defense. I'll definitely be using him in DFS. And then the Falcons side, they're going to have a bunch of success as well. So I will take the over, but yeah, it feels like one of those games that either team can win this one.
Maybe I'm wrong here, Chop, and you may not even know this answer, but is Justin Fields from Georgia? I want to say yes. Maybe I'm wrong there, but I'll have to look that up. But potentially a homecoming game, like Noto said, on the turf. This guy's been incredible. I mean, kind of the new Lamar Jackson, just getting it done on the ground each and every week here. But that spread moving towards the Bears. Chop, you with Chicago and Justin Fields taking a home team here.
Yeah, he originally went to the University of Georgia, and then Georgia made the decision to go with another quarterback, a guy who's not even – he's like was a Giants backup for a couple years, and he got bounced. But then that's when Fields transferred to Ohio State.
What was that guy's name? Who was that other quarterback?
Man, just a pocket passer.
Yes.
Just I forget what his name was, but
so
you're right. This could be.
He is from Georgia as well.
This is a little homecoming for him. So, I mean, there'll be a time. It might take to the offseason. There'll be a time when they figure it out and make him pass a little bit more. That's what defensive coordinators do. But in season, it's tough to do it. It's tough to figure it all out in season when you've only got a couple practice days to do it in between games. So I expect it. The only question we got at is Chalk Fields going to bury us again in DFS? Because I swear to you, man, he's been the highest owned quarterback the last couple of weeks, and he's been the highest owned, and the highest scoring guy. So
you guys don't like 45 fantasy points a week? Why are you fading this guy?
I'm not, but I want to know. I want to look up his prices right now. I know we don't talk a ton of DFS on this show, a ton of DFS content here at RotoGrinders, but I have yet to jump in on the salaries. Have you guys seen it yet?
I saw him at 7,500 on DraftKings, I think it was. So they bumped him up a G. I mean, it's
7,600. He's still below Josh Allen at 85, Lamar at 84, and Hurts at 82.
Yeah, so I'm going to abstain from the game and just kind of figure something out for DFS with this one. I don't know who's going to win this thing.
And your Georgia white pocket passer, Jake Fromm.
That's him, Frommy.
Jake Fromm State Farm.
He was so bad,
we talked about on this show.
He was terrible.
He was pretty bad.
Was he on the Giants for a while?
He was. Buffalo, I want to say. He's been the backup on a few different teams here. So, what do you think his ownership's going to be this week? You don't mind rolling him out there again. I mean, what? Okay, and I know quarterback, we don't worry about ownership as much. If the guy gets to 20, that's extensive.
You're not supposed to, but the thing is, the guy did get over 20 last week, so he's on the climb. So you might have a quarterback at 25+% this week. That's a tough thing to just eat all that chalk right there. But he's a different cat with the running ability.
The only difference this week, we have Josh Allen, Lamar, and Hurts all on the main slate. Last week Allen was dealing with injury, so nobody wanted to play him, and then Jackson and Hurts weren't on the main slate. So I do think he'll be popular, but maybe not 30% again.
Over on FanDuel, he is 8,700, third highest. You got Allen and Hurts ahead of him. Lamar is 8,400, so a little bit cheaper. So. And you're probably right. Those premium names may water it down a little bit, but hard to argue with the production. Like you said, Noto, you're like 40, 45, 50 fantasy points a week. Just never seen chalk like this. We've all been playing a long time, and we've certainly had during the seasons, different weeks here and there, and it's going to hit. But to hit every single week like this, it's just crazy. I don't know how this can keep going, but here we are. Continues to hit. All right, next game. I'll open up the late window here. Looks like we have, what do we got in the late window? 3-game late window. We'll start with the Raiders and the Broncos. Probably the two biggest disappointments. We talked about the Jets and the Giants being surprises. I mean, this was supposed to be the division. Everybody was going to hit their overs, and they're all going to be in contention for the playoffs, and it's just not happening here. Vegas, 2-7. Denver, 3-6. Open Denver at -2.5. That has stayed steady. Total at 41.5. So, Chop, Devontae Adams, not happy. Russell Wilson been a big disappointment on the others. I mean, this is just the disappointment bowl. We got to, I guess we don't have to pick somebody, but I'm going to take a stand here, make a best bet, but I'm going to toss it to you, Chop. Raiders, Broncos, maybe the worst game on the schedule. What do you got?
Maybe it'll be the best game on the schedule. We don't know.
Yeah, I guess you never know.
But I would say, the Raiders have the kind of that feel of the Green Bay that I talked about. You've hit rock bottom. Got to go up from here. That was pretty bad last week. But yeah, I still can't take them. I would throw a lean on Denver, just because I think there's more potential for Denver to actually. I mean, they're 3-6. There is a chance if Russell plays well, if he starts to. He actually showed signs of being better last game. If he gets better, they're still in playoff contention. Raiders are not even – they're so far from – they're in disarray over there, that whole organization. They just gave all that draft equity and all that money to a 30-plus-year-old wide receiver, and they're 2-7. So they're in big trouble, but Denver can kind of bounce back here. So it's under a field goal. I would lean Denver, but nothing heavy, though.
I'm locking in Denver. I hate to put money on Russell Wilson, but if you can't get it done in this matchup, Noto, I don't know how you're going to get it done. I mean, Denver, third most fantasy points allowed Vegas, third most fantasy points allowed to the quarterback position. I know it's been bad. To me, Vegas has been worse. I trust Denver's defense at least. If that's the calling card and you're at home, you can slow this team down enough. Maybe you only need to score 13 points, 17 points to win this game. So to me, it's less about Russell Wilson. It's more about Denver's defense is probably the best unit in this game. I think they slow the Raiders down enough and potentially win an ugly game. If it's under 3, I'll take it. If it's 3, maybe I'm thinking a little bit about it, but 2.5, I'm locking Denver in. What do you got, Noto?
I hate both these teams. No chance I'm putting my money on either team. But the man with the best haircut in football, Mark Davis, he says Josh McDaniels is doing a great job, he says. He's bringing it back next year. I know we gave him a ton of money in the offseason, but, man, it's ugly for Las Vegas right now. It's ugly for Denver. Both of them got to be regretting their off-season decisions at this point. So I want no part of the game. I would lean the under because I want to root against both of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, how many mistakes can this Vegas team make? I mean, Gruden and Mayock to McDaniel. I mean,
are they still paying Gruden?
They got to be. I don't know if they got out of that. There may have been something with that, but pretty sure it was like a 10-year deal for Gruden. So just unbelievable. So, yeah, this game's terrible. Chop's probably right. That Carolina-Atlanta game was the worst game on the schedule a few weeks ago, and that turned out to be a game you had to have. So, ugly. Give me Denver here as my 4th best bet. Next game, Chops Cowboys back in action here against the Minnesota Vikings. And guys, this may be the shocking line of the week here. Dallas favored in this game. Opened at 2.5. It's come down a little bit to 1.5 here total at 47.5. So Derek, will stay with you. I'm locking in my last best bet here on this game, but 2 of the better teams in the NFC. Minnesota, like you mentioned, definitely a horseshoe. Yeah, they're 8-1. I'm going to give them credit. You go into Buffalo, you get it done. But I saw a stat of 8-1 teams going back over the last however many years, and their point differential is way down there at the bottom. They're barely winning these games. Point differential was so low on them. Eventually, that comes back to bite you here. So Cowboys and Vikings with the Cowboys as road favorites. Noto, what do you got?
Yeah, this game, the spread and the fact that most people are putting their money on the Cowboys shows that the public's getting a lot smarter. There's a lot more information out there. Everyone's seeing that the Vikings have won a lot of these close games. They've had a lot of generous, turnovers and plays go their way. So it's interesting. I was expecting the Vikings to be favored, and I was expecting more of the money to be on the Vikings given their record, but that's just not the case. But yeah, I like Dallas. I mean, they're just a better team. I worry that Minnesota is going to, keep having that good luck. We've seen that with a couple of teams. I think the Raiders last year had a huge, negative point differential. They kept winning games, but yeah, I got to go with the better team, and I think that's Dallas.
I'm with you 100% here. I'm on the Cowboys. I think this will become the public bet. Most people looking at this, how could Minnesota possibly be underdogs? They're 8-1. Dallas couldn't even beat the lowly Green Bay Packers. How are they going to go to Minnesota and win? I mean, these are all the questions that Joe Blow in the sportsbook is going to be asking everybody. How the hell could we possibly take Dallas? I'm locking them in as a best bet here. The bets are about split, though. No, you mentioned some of the splits here. The money with Dallas, with the betting, I could see that going to 65, 70% Minnesota, with the money being on the side it should be, and that's Dallas. So best bet for me, I'm going with the Cowboys. Chop. Your boys bounce back. Obviously a tough game here on the road against a good Vikings team. What are you doing here, Cowboys, Vikings?
You got to lock in the Cowboys here. Best bet. It's a no-brainer for me. Even if I knew nothing, even if I had no knowledge or rooting interest for the Cowboys or anything like that, you got one team that's their biggest victory of the year in the game of the year. We talked about, bounce backs and that kind of thing, and what goes up must come down. There's no way Minnesota can maintain that level of, excitement throughout this game after what happened last week. So they got to come down a little. Dallas had, I don't even think it's debatable, that was probably the worst loss of the year. They were, because they expected to win that game, and so they're, near the bottom of where they should be. So those two things one's got to come down, one's got to go up. It matches up well for the Cowboys here. And by the way, I don't know the numbers. I didn't look up the numbers, but something tells me Dak Prescott, the game in Green Bay last week, I want to say that he's probably not very much of a outdoors cooler weather guy, being from Mississippi and all that. I don't know. I don't have the numbers to back that up. I'd have to look it up. But getting back into a dome environment is probably better for him. I don't think he's had a lot of success like in that kind of weather. And it wasn't even bad weather. It's just, hey, listen, I'm from Texas. It's 40 degrees outside right now, and I don't want to walk the dog. And a guy from Michigan is going to tell me, that's
I'm rocking the shorts. And
that's barbecue weather. We're barbecuing.
We're golfing. We're barbecuing.
It's different strokes for different folks. Well, Dak's from Mississippi. If 40-degree weather in Lambeau isn't his style and he doesn't play well, that's just the way it is. But we're back in the dome now, so I think he plays better and lock me in the Cowboys.
All right, 2 of us on Dallas. That's my last one, Chop. You still have 1 bullet left. By my count, Noto, you still got 2 remaining unless I missed something. All right, next game. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, last game in that afternoon window. This one opened Cincy -5.5. That's come down to 4.5. Total at 41 here, Chop. So divisional game. No Jamar Chase. So once again for Cincinnati, TJ Watt back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I expect an ugly one here. I don't have any best bets left, but I lean Pittsburgh here. I lean the under. Chop, are you with me? You're going against me to Cincinnati. Bounce back. What do you got here, Bengals, Steelers?
I'd be much more apt to take Cincinnati here if Jamar Chase wasn't out of this game. So I think that really hurts their offense. And so I'm kind of neutral on it. So I don't really have a best bet. And that 40.5 is so low. I don't know if I could go under, but I certainly wouldn't go over. So it's just a tough game for me. I'm staying away from it.
All right, no. Steelers unders just leans for me here in this one. Chop staying away. What do you got, Bengals, Steelers?
Yeah, I like the Bengals this season, but I love the Steelers in this spot. Got TJ Watt back on defense last week. Kenny Pickett, after the bye week, looked pretty good. He's got some weapons to use. They're using Jaylen Warren a lot more as well. So, yeah, I'm locking in the Steelers +4 at home.
All right, 4th best bet for Noto, Pittsburgh. Let's move to Sunday night football. We have the Chiefs and the Chargers open up Kansas City -5.5. That's gone to 6.5. Total at 50 in this one, Derek. So Chargers, I don't know that they're going to get Keenan Allen back, so we're going to be devoid of wide receivers once again here. We know the story here with the Chiefs. Interesting part, Isaiah Pacheco kind of taking over that backfield. Andy Reid says, well, we didn't mean to not play CEH. I think he played about 4 snaps. So it's still a 3-headed monster there. Somewhat McKinnon still mixing in here. But Chiefs on a roll here, Derek. Chargers could use a win here back in the home team, or you roll with the Chiefs?
And isn't it weird that Kadarius Toney hasn't gotten hurt yet?
It's yeah. I mean, magically healed too. I mean, the guy couldn't get on the field. He gets traded. Boom. I'm suddenly healthy.
Although he caught that touchdown, it was like jumping on 1 foot. I thought he hurt his hamstring and he just kept going with the jump on 1 foot. And I guess it was just a show. But yeah, look, the Chargers always played the Chiefs really close. They should have beat them in Arrowhead earlier this season. But man, the defensive line dealing with a bunch of injuries, offensive line dealing with a bunch of injuries. You mentioned the receivers dealing with a bunch of injuries. I'll take the Chargers, but there's just so many question marks, man.
Yeah, I lean the Chargers here as well. It feels like too many points, and some would argue it's under a touchdown. It's probably not enough points, but I still think they'll stay competitive. Like you mentioned, good history here. It's a team that knows the Chiefs well. I think they can win this game even without some of the receivers. I definitely think they can keep this game close, and the Chiefs really haven't blown anybody out either. It's not that high-powered Tyreek Hill. They're scoring 50 a game offense. They're still putting points on the board. Still very potent, but they have questions as well. It's Juju. That hit was just nasty. If you didn't see that one, and he got knocked out. So is Juju healthy? Some of the injuries on that side of the ball. So Chop, close game here. Chiefs roll, or you like the Chargers with the points at home?
I mean, I like the Chargers. Don't know if it's the best bet though. I'm trying to think here. Yeah, I like the Chargers just because, Herbert not going to have his receivers, but he's kind of gotten used to that by now. It's been a few weeks since he's had Williams or Allen, and whereas Mahomes is going to have to deal with there's no way Juju plays this week. Yes. He just can't. He couldn't even – he was knocked out cold. I just don't think they can let him do that. So he's going to have to figure out, well, how can I adjust with no Juju? And, his receivers were already kind of a mess anyway. So I think it favors the Chargers here a little bit. It's a divisional game. That's a big number for a road favorite. So I would lean Chargers, but I can't lock them in. So I'd circle back. You could put me in for Green Bay, lock me in Green Bay as my fifth and final, because no way I'm touching that Monday night game as a best bet.
I was going to say, man, you're rolling with the Cardinals as your last one here. That'd be pretty bold. So Monday Night Football, San Francisco and Arizona. Big line movement here. San Francisco opened 5.5. That has ballooned to 8 here. 8.5 at some books on this one. Total at 43.5. So Chop will stay with you here. I want to ask you about this Christian McCaffrey thing. And they come out and, Elijah Mitchell's back and they want a 50-50 split here. I kind of agree with it. I know fantasy people are going to be upset. We want McCaffrey to be this workhorse, but if I'm San Francisco, I got my eyes on the prize. I think we can win the NFC. I think we can win the Super Bowl. We need to keep this guy healthy. Why not work Elijah Mitchell in, who was our starter not too long ago? So a lot of gripe out there in the fantasy community. You trade for Christian McCaffrey, you're not going to give him 30-plus touches. I think Carolina always wanted to dial him back. They just didn't have a guy to take some of that work away. Chop, do you agree with this split? Any thoughts on that? And then get into the game, Niners-Cardinals.
So 2 things about this game. Number one, what you just said, Frisco, 100%, I'm down with that, man. Don't wear McCaffrey. This is the best team in the NFC if they can stay healthy. So don't wear him down. Save his butt for the playoffs, or if you have a must-win game later in the year, which I don't think you will, I think you'll get into the playoffs pretty easily. Save him because you're going to need him. You want him healthy. If he's healthy and Debo's healthy and Kittle's healthy, you can win the Super Bowl. So save him. I'm down with that. I like that strategy. Second thing is, I don't know if Kyler Murray's going to play this week. So it kind of makes this game, kind of throws it up in the air. But the Cardinals have yet to have their bye week. So eventually they're going to get their bye week. And when they do, theoretically, they could have a healthy Kyler Murray, a healthy DeAndre Hopkins, and a healthy Marquise Brown and Rondale Moore. I think they can make a run for the playoffs. As bad as they've been this year, they're still only 4-6. I think they still got a shot. If they can get their bye week, get healthy, get all those guys on the field, they're going to be a force on offense. James Conner looked great last week. They needed that. So good that they cut Eno Benjamin, everybody's favorite.
That was a shocker.
It was, but, that tells you something right there that, Connor's got a little bit of juice left in him. So this offense can be really good if they can get to the bye week and get healthy. But I can't touch any of these teams this week, but I think it's a very interesting game.
Yeah, I'm with you in the game. I'm not going to I don't have any best bets anyway. I would lean San Francisco. Just they're the much better team. I agree that the problem is I think that bye week comes in week 14, I want to say, for this team. So can they keep their head above water enough? They did open the practice window for Hollywood Brown. Does that mean he comes back this week or not? We'll see. They did lose Zach Ertz to an injury. So you kind of gain one, lose one, and
I'd say it might be an addition by subtraction.
Yeah, Ertz is what he is. I get it, but Hollywood, a big play guy.
They actually have I want to say is that the Trey? Did they have Trey McBride?
Yes. But
okay.
He was on the field a lot, but did a lot of blocking, which makes sense with that line.
He's a rookie.
He's a
rookie tight ends. Yeah, rookie tight ends don't usually do well right away, but he was really good. So in college,
Greg Dulcich says, "Hold my beer."
Dulcich was really good too. Yeah, you're right. Like you never know. Like the loss of Zach Ertz might end up helping them in the long run. Is all I was trying.
Yeah, you get McBride on the field. Exactly. You're right. The history is rookie tight ends don't come in and make an impact. And Dulcich, you're starting to see some of the struggles. Very rare for a guy. But yeah, he was on the field a lot, just didn't get a lot of targets, but it's not a Kyler offense either. So Hollywood, a clear upgrade over Zach Ertz. That was not.
Ooh, yeah.
No doubt.
That could be nasty when you think about that.
Yeah.
Hopkins, Marquise over here, and then Rondell in the slot. They could make some noise, man.
Don't forget about the Robbie Anderson acquisition that's been targeted one time in 3 weeks.
Marquise is so important because it gets Anderson the hell off the field and stops all those stupid penalties. How can a wide receiver be jumping jumping
don't
before
know.
the snap, man.
That guy.
It's amazing.
I think I'd rather play AJ Green at this point. I mean, he looked like vintage AJ Green on that catch in
That
the
was a
corner of
great
the end
catch.
zone. But
That was a great catch.
all right, way too much time spent on the Cardinals here. No, still need your thoughts on this game, Niners Cardinals.
Yeah, did you guys catch the first episode of the in-season Hard Knocks with these
I
guys?
have not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's good.
Good.
Kyler's a weird dude. He's a weird dude, but Buda Baker, man, that guy's awesome. And he was expected to miss 2 to 3 weeks with that high ankle sprain. Plays last week, gets a big interception in that game. He's fun to watch, and he's a star on that show too. So, yeah, Bear, you got to watch that. My lean would just be take the points at home in division, more than a touchdown. But yeah, the Cardinals. This is going to be a fun watch after they beat.
They
Rams
picked the right team somehow. A team that was supposed to be good. They're not good. Struggling. The whole Kyler thing with the video games. I'm sure they're
comes
get
across
into some of that.
Yeah, he comes across as a guy who got through high school, like high school and college, didn't have to worry a single bit about football because he was so gifted. Just laid around and played video games, went out to practice in the games and did his thing, and that was it. And then he never stopped doing that, even in the pros. Like, he comes across as a guy who just doesn't work at all for it. It's just everything he does is just natural, and he's not putting any more work. That's just what he comes across as. I don't know though.
Well, and then they pay him too, so you get all that money and guaranteed, and where's that motivation to be better? So who knows? But no, anything else here? And then that split in San Francisco. Your thoughts on that, real quick? I think it makes a lot of sense to keep him healthy. Fantasy players would disagree.
Yeah, love the split, and that makes it so we don't have to play McCaffrey at 10K every week too. We can play him at a little cheaper price point. But I was just going to say, so my friends and I were talking about the first episode, and one of them said Kyler looks like he's part of a Key and Peele a show. Like every time they show him on camera, it just looks like he's like not supposed to be where he is, or I don't know. It's just he's making weird faces. I don't know what it is. He's just an interesting guy.
Yeah, he absolutely is. So that's on the list. I was actually going to watch that last night, so maybe I'll dial that up tonight. It's like a week behind, right? So they're recapping the previous week.
Yep.
Okay. All right. I'll check that out for sure. No, unless I missed something, I have 4 best bets for you here.
Yeah, give me the Cowboys.
All right, Dallas. All right, so quick recap of the best bets. Noto's got Baltimore, Houston, New England, Pittsburgh, and Dallas. Chops rolling with Green Bay, Baltimore, Houston, New Orleans, and Dallas. I am rolling with Green Bay, Houston, New Orleans, Denver, and Dallas. So a lot of
overlap.
See here. Yeah, there's a lot of 2 of us on Green Bay, 2 of you guys on Baltimore, all 3 of us on Houston, 2 of us on New Orleans, all 3 on Dallas. So maybe make some parlays of those all 3s. Pretty good history there. And again, rock bottom last week. We were due to bounce back. The season-long record still looking pretty strong. So that will do it here for week 11. We appreciate you guys, as always, for tuning in to the show. Do us a favor. If you enjoy the show, click that thumbs up button on YouTube. Leave a review wherever you're listening on a podcast app. We appreciate that. And head over to BetMGM. Use promo code GRINDERS for that risk-free bet up to $1,000. Also, check out scoresandodds.com. Tons of great information there. The ability to compare all these odds and look at different prices and premium picks as well from all 3 of us and a bunch of other people in all of the major sports. So go and check it out, scoresandodds.com. Final thoughts, guys. Week 11. Noto, what do you got?
Play Justin Fields in DFS. It's that easy.
Play him and print, says Noto. Another 40 ball incoming. Chop, final thoughts here. You playing chalky Justin Fields once again?
I'm a GPP guy, so I can't really commit to playing Justin. I'm not like Notorious running them cash games. I got to think about that. But all I know is I have got to have a good week in DFS because it's the last week before Thanksgiving, and we won't be having turkey this year if I can't have a good week this week. We'll be eating like yard bird.
Turkey's the cheapest bird.
I'll be out there shooting pigeons down off the telephone wire.
Oh, damn.
Like we've got to bounce back here now.
All right. Well, we'll have our annual Thanksgiving spectacular. We will be back next week on Wednesday, so we will get into Thanksgiving games as well as the normal week. So we'll cover everything get you all set up for your holiday next week. But thank you again for listening. Best of luck here in week 11. For Chop, for Noto, I am Beer. We are the DFS OGs. Thank you so much for listening. Best of luck with your bets and your DFS, and we'll catch you next week. Kick off the new pro football season with the king of sportsbooks. Sign up at BetMGM using bonus code GRINDERS, and your first wager is risk-free up to $1,000. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Louisiana, Michigan, Mississippi, Nevada, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Puerto Rico, Tennessee, Virginia, Washington, D.C., West Virginia, Wyoming, or Ontario only. Must be 21 years or older to wager. 19 or older in Ontario. New customer offer only. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. Excludes Michigan disassociated persons. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona. 1-800-522-4700 in Colorado, D.C., Kansas, Louisiana, Nevada, Wyoming, or Virginia. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help in Michigan. 1-800-GAMBLER in Indiana, Maryland, New Jersey, or West Virginia. 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 in Puerto Rico. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Call or text the Tennessee Red Line at 800-889-9789 in Tennessee, or call 1-888-777-9696 in Mississippi and Ontario. If you have any questions or concerns about your gambling or someone close to you, please contact Connects Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 to speak to an advisor free of charge. Sports betting is void in Georgia, Hawaii, Ohio, and Utah, and other states where prohibited. Promotional offers not available in Nevada and New York.